it's worth. You have to come. Anyways, welcome to another vlog. This is Cole. Dan is currently working for another company outside of Philly. So what I've been working on recently is cleaning these guys up. I made these a while ago. So since we have the tumbler now, I decided to throw them in the tumbler for a few hours to see how they turn out. They turned out pretty good. They're basically my holders. There they all are. I'll show you. But it's essentially to hold grinder. Like such. Which is not working well without the magnetic base on it, which I don't have yet. I gotta order some. But yeah, so I just need to bend these tabs out as well. And these should, I should powder coat these. I decided on the color. I had a problem in the past. A few beta pieces I made, the powder coat really didn't want to get into this crevice here. And it just looked, I don't know, unfinished. So it kind of put me on hold here for this project, getting these out. So I'm finally getting around to it, just trying to clean up some loose ends. But I also have my TIG torch, MIG torch holders. These guys here. So you can throw your TIG torch in there either way, depending on how you want to put it in. Also, throw my air nozzle on it. Make it fit right down in here. It's handy, magnetic mount. You can mount it on the side of your table, or if you're working off another area, a small workbench or whatever that has a metal top that you're welding on. It's handy to throw your stuff on there. I usually set mine in there because then I don't knock it down inadvertently, because I'm clumsy, very clumsy. As you can see, ta-da! I'm working a little slower these days. Completely broke my finger. It's an interesting story how it happened. I blame Trump, it's his fault. But anyways, yeah, we'll get into that at another time. So currently I have the TIG torch holders tumbling. I just threw them in about 20 minutes ago. So we'll give them a little bit to clean up the mill scale and anything else that was on it, and figure out how I'm going to powder coat those. We still have the RS4 in here. This guy gets these resonators eliminated, so it's going to be cut off and then straight piped in there. And I've been debating, because this is an aftermarket system, I think at AWE, that was kind of connected to some down pipes and then readjusted size and then reconnected here. Really don't need all these connection points. This one connection point would be alright. These are actually connection points in here. It's actually cut here too. So technically, if I welded that and welded that, all we'd have to do is weld there, because we have a break point there. But with my finger, I don't know I'm going to be able to do that. I might just have to cut these and weld in the straight pipe. I'm still waiting for the material on that. I tried a new vendor because the size of the pipe is 2 3/8, so it's a little odd size. It's not a common stock size. So my normal place that I would get it from, I'd have to buy it in 6-foot lengths, and I only really need 2.5 foot, and I really don't need to stock that 2 3/8. So I found a different supplier. They have it, and I was able to get 3 foot of it for a lot less than 6 foot, but unfortunately it's not here yet. So yeah, that project's still working. Got the 911 in here. This thing's had some a P0102 code, which is the MAF. This guy's bad. I tested that in the Durametric software that I have. It's reporting no voltage back, so it's definitely blown. Now apparently that's a common issue with running aftermarket air filters, so we'll see. The Porsche part number, it's a Bosch part, is like $800. The direct Bosch number, if you order that, it's like 220 bucks, so I just ordered that. And there's a couple aftermarket ones, but I've never had any success with aftermarket electronics like coil packs, things like that. They just blow out right away. You know, I bought coil packs once for my Audi TT. They didn't even last 1,500 miles before they start going out. And that was, I think, Bale, and, you know, German company, blah, 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 but said made in the People's Republic of China. And it looked nice, but it didn't last but 1,500 miles, and I lost 2 coil packs, which is unacceptable. So sometimes it pays just to pay a little bit more, get the right stuff, and you don't have to deal with that headache. Product I'm working on. I make these Vespa 250, 300 foot pegs. So I came up a way where I actually bend the tube, roll the tube, and mount it to the sheet metal here on the screw, because there's really nowhere to mount these. And then I weld on another piece, and I put my foot pegs on there. It's a lot of work to make these, and it's a pain in the butt, but it's the best way that I've come up with. I also make a foot kickboard plate that goes here that mounts on these screws that you could strap like a gas can to, or a bag, or anything like that. I was thinking maybe it'd be easier if I could make that all one unit, so I would have the kickboard plate here and then run the foot pegs off of it. Just because that's such a pain to do and replicate exactly the same each and every time. I basically have to make it just to the bike, because I don't have a jig. There's not a good enough jig that I can make that I can really replicate these shapes. So I pretty much hand make it to each bike, which is a real pain in the butt. And so this is a piece that I made that was a jig. And as you can see, I have a couple pieces here that are already pre-bent that would fit in there, but I still have to notch it, weld it, fit it, custom, basically hand fit this piece so that the screw goes through on each piece. There's no good way to really, I haven't figured a good way to do it. I'm sure there's a way I can make a jig, but I just don't have a high call for these things, so it'd probably take me longer to make a jig than to actually just hand make it. So that's what's up with this project. Hey guys, it's Cole back. Had surgery yesterday on the hand. I got 3 pins put in it, tied up in this cast here, splint. It's pretty big. In about a week from now, I'll get that taken off and a smaller splint put on, so I'll have a little bit more movability. But so we're kind of on light duty here at the shop, doing a couple light things, nothing major. Can't really pull anything with this. So we're back on the 996 turbo here that has the blown math. So got the new math in the mail. Just came yesterday while I was in surgery. So the old math here, this guy here is pretty much blown. In the Durametric software, when I'm running that, it shows basically no readings from this. So we're going to go ahead and call this guy dead. So we got the new one here, and we can verify the part numbers here. So we'll flip it over here. Should be the exact same part number. This is not a Porsche part, this is a Bosch part number, which coincides with the same number, 996-606-12400. That is correct. So the $800 part is replaced by an actual Bosch part that's only $200, which is way more economical. So we're going to go ahead and just plug this right down in there. I'm not sure if we can see it down in there, it's kind of dark. And of course the direction it goes, it is directional because it has to pick up the air sensing. So basically this just measures your mass airflow. It's a meter from your air intake here through your air filter, and from there it adjusts your fuel mapping accordingly once it knows how much volume of air it's getting. So we're going to go ahead and put this in. I'm going to hook it up, screw it all down. We'll fire up the car, we'll fire up the Durametric software, and we'll verify that we're getting some readings off that. So currently, if we look at the Durametric software, we're going to see that we have a check engine code. The fault code should be a P0102, yeah, which it is, which is a MAF sensor. So we're going to go ahead and replace that, plug that in, and fire this up and make sure we're getting readings off that. So I'll be right back. Alrighty guys, go ahead, I got the new MAF installed. I'll hook back up. I have the Durametric software for Porsche fired up. I got the car running. I went ahead and cleared out the fault codes. The fault codes currently show no fault codes, and it was coming back instantaneous. So we're going to go ahead and look at the actual values here of the MAF. So here we got the airflow of the MAF. So it's reading. So here we're showing that it's reading. You can see it on the graph. Before it was reading 0 with the old MAF. So we're pretty much not working. So we'll go down here, there's another one, there's a hot film MAF. So we'll go ahead and select that, make sure we got a voltage on that as well. And we do, we're reading 1.56 volts, whatever. See if I can give it a little bit of throttle. See if she goes up and get some airflow run through it. Should see it change. I can get my foot on it. So it already is idling better, sounds better, everything looks a lot better. We're getting readings. The graph readjusted its height there, and this is doing that right now. As you can see, when it after I revved it. So now we're at idle. You can see the voltage and the amount of airflow it's seeing. So we're looking good there. So this project should be done. All set and good to go. The car should be back to running in closed loop instead of open loop. I went ahead and I polished the headlights here. They were looking pretty yellow. They were actually looking terrible. Did both of them. These things are great because you can, with one screw, adjustable band actually, that locks into the light. You just loosen it and the light pops right out. You can pull the light straight out. You can polish it on the table. We just used a 3M polishing kit and then put some UV protectant, which is very important. You have to put their UV protectant down or the sun will once again start to yellow the plastic rather quite quickly. Now I'm not sure, I've never used the UV protectant. I don't know how long that lasts, if it's something that you have to put on every once in a while, like every time you clean the car, just to make sure. Not sure. In the past, we've sanded the headlights, the plastic headlights, and then just used regular plastic clear coat to go over it. That worked really well. That holds up pretty decent. So I'll be interested to see how this stuff works out. If anybody's used this stuff and can attest to it being good or bad, I'd be curious to know. So that wraps up this project here. We still have the RS4. I was waiting for this 2 3/8 inch pipe to come in because we're going to cut out these resonators here and we're just going to straight pipe it through. That came in yesterday. Unfortunately, I was in surgery, so they didn't deliver it, so it'll be here Monday. So I'm going to have to get some help to cut this out. I actually have a buddy of mine that's going to come up and actually weld this for me. Seeing how I'm not really going to be able to weld with this hand. I could weld left-handed, but I'm just going to call it, you know, wait a while before I start pushing myself. So I'll have a couple other guys help me get this all lined up and cut, and the new pieces set, cut in and tacked in, and I'll just have my buddy weld it. It'll be disconnected here and here, so we'll be able to weld it on the bench. It'll be easier, so we won't have to weld it on the car. So that'll be pretty straightforward. So, and then this car should be done. The customer will get it back. He'll be pretty happy. So another thing I did, I went over to Harbor Freight today because I need to get some more rubber gloves. Some of these 7mm nitrile gloves. These things are great. I love them. They're strong enough to not rip up right away, but they're you know, not too tight that you can't do anything in them. Your hands do sweat a little bit in them, so I'm not crazy about that. But when you're working on powder coating or you're working on metal, like finishing the metal, instead of getting your greasy mitts all over it and having to wipe it all down constantly before you powder coat, you know, these are 10 bucks a box. You know, they last a while. There's 50 pair in there, so you're good to go. I also decided to pick up a welding cabinet cart instead of making one, mainly because I wanted some drawers. And this is actually going to be used for the plasma. I was going back and forth with whether I should just get another open cart like I have over here. The Cornwell toolboxes rolling carts. And I was just going to stick the plasma box on top, kind of like what I have here. But I hate that there's no drawers, and then it just becomes collecting all kinds of crap and junk in there. So I figured I'd get one that had drawers so I could put all my tips in there, since I have tips for the hand cutting torch and the machine torch. I'll be able to throw it in here. It has a tank storage and it has cable storage, so that's a little bit more convenient as well. The tank, you know, originally I was like, well, I don't really need the tank, but for stainless, that particular, the Hypertherm 45XP, you can use F5, which is a nitrogen gas, 95% nitrogen, 5% hydrogen, and it allows you to cut stainless without giving you that black hardened edge like you would get if you welded without the shielding gas, like the sugaring you would get on the inside. So I'm pretty pumped about that. I really want to try that because I hate cutting stainless with plasma because of that. But if that eliminates that, I'll be tickled pink. The other thing is we did get our other, I don't know if I might have documented in the update, we did get our Thermodynamics A80 back from service. They put a whole new motherboard in it free of charge because it was covered under warranty. 4-year warranty with them. Got really lucky because it was 3.5 years when it burned up. Now the thermodynamics is, or Hypertherm is only 3-year warranty, so I would have kind of been up the creek's paddle, up the creek without a paddle, yeah. If I would have bought like the larger 85 of that. So I went with the 45 on this just because I figured if I can get that repaired, I'd still have a higher powered machine, and the lower powered machine, you know, 90% of what you end up cutting is never more than 1/4 inch anyways, and occasional 1/2 inch. And it'll do 1/2 inch, it just won't do piercing. You'll have to do edge start, but for 90% of what we do, that works fine. And the cut speeds are twice as fast. The travel speeds are a lot faster. A little bit better edge cut on the thicker stuff. Thinner stuff's about the same, but it offers some neat features that the other one didn't. The fine cut consumables work a lot better on their thinner stuff with the faster speed. So if you're doing a lot of cutting, you can really hammer out a bunch of material in a very short amount of time compared to the thermodynamics. The other thing is I can run the F5 gas with that. Now, I'm assuming once they come out with like the 65 XP and the 85 XP that will also have those features. Currently, I don't think those models you can run nitrogen gas on. I don't think the regulator's built in to do that. This one is. So I'll be interested. I'm gonna pick up a bottle of F5, throw it on with this cart. I'll be able to throw all the tips in there or whatnot, throw the machine on top, and get rid of that ugly cart that I've had for 20 plus years sitting over there that's collected junk over the years. So the 911 sounded good. It's idling really nice. I can't remember the last time it idled this nice. Very smooth. So I'm gonna say this guy's done. So happy about that. We're still reading. Double check any fault codes. No fault codes. Dash is still showing some lights there. I'm not sure that PSM and ABS should be off. That usually coincides with that P0102, so I might have to reboot it and reset everything and see if that won't clear. But other than that, we'll call this project done for now. So I'm just going to go ahead and shut her down, and I'll get on to opening this box here and installing this cart, replacing that. This guy over here, the Vespa 250, 300. I make the foot pegs for these guys. I think I went over this a little bit last time. So I'm looking to do a different design because that takes a while to bend that, and it's all hand fitted, and this is rolled, and it has to be notched and cut, and this has to be cut at a certain angle. This has to be fitted because there's no real good way to mount these. I'm mounting it into the sheet metal screws that are already existing. There's also one right here. So what I'm thinking of doing is, instead of having to do this the old school way, you know, which I don't mind, I like, and it's heavy duty, I figure I'm going to draw something up in Fusion 360 and cut it out on the mill, on the CNC mill over there on the old iron side, and make it out of aluminum and make something that just bolts right here, and then it has your foot peg off the side, because that's something that I could probably produce some much faster, quicker turnaround times. So that's the project on that, and that's something that I can do that's pretty low-key and not yanky and pulley and grabby of metal. So, all right. Hey, this is my brother.
Hey, what's up?
What happened to your foot?
I don't know, man.
What's up, bro? How are you? Yeah. We're all busted up.
I saw that. Oh gosh.
I can't even
That's a good one.
Yeah.
At the moment I messed mine up.
Yeah, I saw a picture on the internet. What's that?
Yeah. Well, I've been on crutches for
Someone lost me?
2-3
There.
weeks now.
Hey guys, this is Cole from Ringo Metalworks. So today I just finished up the RS4 with the help of my nephew AA Ron and Big Ron over the past couple days. I just finished tightening up the cans here. So what we did here, as you can see here, there was resonators that were in here, which are over here, these guys. 2 resonators, customer one of them removed. They were on there pretty good. We have to beat it pretty good. Big Ron had his way with the hammer because they were sleeved in here the whole ways back. So we got a good 2.5, 3 inch, maybe 3 inch sleeved, and it was all corroded in there and everything. So what we did is we took this out. Ron cut out the resonators for me since I'm still one-handed, and then we went ahead and I threw these stainless tubes in the tumbler to see how they would fare out, and they cleaned up really nice. And so then we went ahead with my nephew. He came in and helped me. We mucked these all back up in, took our measurements, cut our straight pipes, and went ahead and welded them in. Left hand weld. That was fun. But it welded up pretty good, as you can see. Happy with how it turned out. Some of this here I'm not crazy about. This was previously here. I guess this exhaust that was on here originally when the customer bought the car, he put on the down pipes that are a little bit bigger, and whoever did the work decided to piece it here. It's also pieced here, and then it's pieced here. I would have welded this here and welded this here, and then left this, you know, the way it was. But the customer didn't want to pay for that, and that's not a problem. It's fine the way it is. Yeah, so we're getting ready to fire up and see how she goes, see how she sounds. She'll sound a little bit throatier, a little deeper, since those resonators are out of here. I'm not crazy about the mounting on this. It only has one hanger right here, and so it kind of pivots down the weight this way. So the manufacturer who made this exhaust, who was it, Miltech, I believe? Yeah, Miltech. They decided to put a brace in between here, an adjustable brace, but that thing's so flimsy it just bends. So I got it. Man, I got the tips and the mufflers about as good as I can get them. Before, this one was hanging down a lot lower, but hopefully that'll stay the way it is. But not too bad. This downpipe here tube is a little lower than this one, which makes this H pipe look a little bit lean to the left. There really wasn't much I could do about that unless I undo this whole entire down tube here, and that could be a can of worms I'm not ready to open, especially since I only have one arm that's working. So that's where we're at with that. We got this all buttoned up, and we're getting ready to fire up for the first time and see how she goes. We'll bring you along for the ride. I apologize for not filming. The GoPro battery's dead. That, and I only have one hand. It makes it a little difficult to film, narrate, and do the work, or supervise the work, or whatever. So, but we'll be back as soon as we're ready to fire it up. All right, we're going to fire this guy up now. Cold start.
That sounds real nice, real nice.
What's up? Let her roll a little bit. Okay. I want to get a shut it off quick. Let me get a start up here for Instagrams. Okay. Instagram instas. And I want you to give me a hang on here. Instagrams.
You want a nice little tap?
Yeah. Hang on.
260 on the monsters. I feel like I would get a lot of trouble with you.
Alright. Go ahead and fire up. Alright, set it down. Ooh, blowing some black smoke. Good.
Yeah, dude. I only ran it to 6.5, man. That thing sounded pretty mean.
Yeah, it was a little raspy. Yeah. That's about all I got. A couple days, probably about a week's worth of stuff here. Just hodgepodge stuff because of the hand. I've been really limited to what I can do. Been depending on other people to really help me out here, and people have been coming through. This guy's done. It sounds pretty raspy. It's I mean, it is what it is. I guess it'll sound different when it warms up and you run it a little bit, but other than that, that's all we got for today. I'll try and edit this vlog. Done. And get it uploaded maybe tonight here. See if I can do that one-handed, because again, it's hard to use a mouse and everything. So other than that, we'll talk to you guys later. Remember, subscribe, tell your friends, that's my line, and now I gotta say it. So anyways, hope you guys enjoyed. See ya.